What are we talking about?
We're talking about Death Note.
No, I know that.
What's the crack, nutsacks? And a hearty farewell to you all. This is Anime Hour, and I am Finbarr Saunders, coming at you from Scotland's capital, the home of Harry Potter, Edinburgh for all you Americans, my friend Extra Hero. And joining me as always is the women from the Sunshine State, aka America's Wang, Florida.
What?
Myself and comics is here.
Oh no.
Bianca, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. You never heard it called America's Wang before?
No, and
It's a
now
Simpsons
I'm gonna
reference.
imagine it. Oh no. Oh.
So putting all that horrible imagery out of your mind about America's Wang.
Oh my gosh.
We're back and we're doing episodes 26 to 37 of Death Note. The second, it's not the second half. We've completed probably about 2/3 of this, and this last 3 arcs runs from 26 to 37. I know you haven't watched it recently. I haven't watched it recently either. I watched it like a week ago, so it's not mega fresh in my mind. But we'll see how we go. It wasn't. I'm gonna just be honest and front street. This part, this which is collectively known as part 2, I didn't really enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the first part. It doesn't feel like 3 arcs either. I don't know if you remember this. It's not really all 3 separate sort of self-contained arcs. It's like it just feels like one arc, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, maybe when we get into the sort of synopsis of it all, it'll come flooding back. It's yeah.
I mean, I can see it as arcs because
I couldn't personally,
but I can also see your perspective as it's just being one thing, like just one big thing altogether, because that's what's happening.
You know, like when it started, it was like, so you had Light was Kira, and then it stopped, and then and we had another Kira, so there's a girl involved. That was the next arc, and then that stopped, and somebody else became Kira, and it was the Yotsuba arc. So you know, they felt like 3 distinct arcs, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then this one was like, you've got Mello and Nier, and it's those 2 from episode 20. They're in episode 26 right at the end, but 27 to 37, it's them 2. Well, mostly them 2 until one of them dies, but it's them 2 from there until the end. And it just felt like one long continuous story. Didn't feel like, I looked at where the arcs sort of started and finished, and I think one arc was like 1 episode long, and it really didn't feel like it was an arc on its own. But that's me being picky. That's me looking at the bad side of it, because there are quite a few bits of bad side in this third of this series. But we'll go through it. We'll get into it. So we got as far as episode 26. 26, if you remember right, I don't know if you do remember this, Bianca, it was like a clip show. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we started off with a clip show. I remember sitting there watching this. I was thinking, oh man, this is like Simpsons.
I skipped it. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm binging.
Well, if you skipped it, you would miss. So I think only the first half of the episode was a clip show. It just recapped sort of the events of the first 25 episodes, and then
then maybe I did watch it then.
Yeah, you will have seen you'll have seen the part where the time jump happens, the 5-year time jump, where Light goes back to killing again, and he kills off the 2 henchmen that L had. He had the Black Widow character and the other character, the Face Man, and he killed them off. So, and then it jumped 5 years ahead when he joins the police. So it's like that's really where the arc starts. That's where part 2 begins, is when he joins the police. But you find out after he joins the police, you find out that there was it must have been like on the event of L's death that a message was sent to. Is it his brother? Is that who that guy is in the house? Is that who?
No.
No. There's some
No, they're not related.
Old... No, I mean it's not the brother of L. I mean the brother of the butler.
No.
No, it's some other old guy who's looking after kids in an orphanage, right? It is an orphanage, isn't it? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets the notification that L is dead, and because he's got this notification, he then needs to pick a successor for L from these 2 kids. So these 2 kids must be the best that they've got. They've got Mello, who is the like blonde-haired brooding one, and he has like a scar on. Does he have a scar on his face at that point, or does he pick that up later? I can't even remember.
No, I think that was after.
That was when he gets. That's when he gets blown up, right? In the
something like that.
Police raid, right?
I remember when I first saw the design, I thought it was a woman.
Yeah, and the other one sounds like a woman. Nia sounds like a woman as well. And you meet the 2 of them. So you meet the 2 of them at the end of episode 26. And Mello's got a relatively deep voice, but yeah, he looks like the style of the character is like a woman. But then you hear Nia speak. Yeah, but you hear Nia speak, and his voice is really high, and he sounds like a girl. And you think with a 5-year time jump, his voice would break. But no, it's the exact same voice in episode 27. So this is when the orphanage caretaker, he tells the 2 of them that L's dead, and one of them needs to succeed L, and Mello sort of realizes that he is the weaker of the 2 because he's impulsive, rash, and he decides that it should be Nia that takes over, so he goes away on his own. And I believe
L was also supposed to choose between one of those 2, but he died before that happened.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
originally, it was they were written to be as L's kids, and then the creator was like, he wouldn't have kids. He's not the type to have kids.
So he's not also way too young.
Characters.
He wasn't that old. Right.
No, he was in it 21.
Yeah. Even with a 5-year time jump, that would put his kids really young, unless he had children when he was 14.
That's true.
Maybe the writer intended to make him older.
Maybe it was like a behind the scenes kind of thing, where like maybe they wanted him to be older at first and then have the kid thing happen, but then they changed it to make him younger, or who knows. It would be good to know.
Yeah, I'll have a look into that. What I would say right off the bat is, and this is something that it's caused me a bit of a problem for the whole of this part, is that I don't like these 2 characters. I don't like they're like L Light. I know that sounds a bit silly, doesn't it? Because there's a character called Light, but I mean they're like the light version of L, and it's like you start to think, and I thought this. I didn't think it right away because I wanted to give it time. But as the episodes were going on, I started thinking, why did they kill L off if this is what we've got in replacement to him? It's just the same. It's just like a less interesting version of him. And I mean Nia specifically, because Nia is the one that takes L's place. Mello doesn't. Mello becomes an antagonist.
Mm-hmm. From what I remember, I believe the manga already ends around L's death, but as the anime studio wanted money, so they just decided to continue it. It was not the creator's choice.
Right. So the natural end to this was Light winning.
I believe so. Okay. I haven't read the manga yet, so who knows?
That's interesting then. So it ends on a bit of a downer if that's the case. But then you could argue that he makes the world a better place. I mean, there's always an argument to be made for that.
I mean, the creator decided to make more spin-offs where other people have the Death Note. So I feel like something did happen to Light. I just don't know what happened.
It would be. I
And
like it when they just know that they're, when a show or a title's time is up and they end it on a high. I like when they do that. I hate when they drag it out like too long, and I think that's probably what happened here. That it suffers. I think it suffers quite bad. But anyway, I'll probably get back onto that again because it kind of pissed me off as I went on watching it. I didn't feel like I was having fun watching it like I did before. I thought it was quite, despite the fact it's quite a heavy, dark kind of show. Anyway, I actually liked the first half or the first 2/3 a lot better than I liked the second part. I was quite down on it when I watched it. So you get what's his name, Mello. He goes and forms like an alliance with the mafia in America for some insane reason, and also Nier ends up going to America as well, and he starts working under the US government for like a Kira, a catch Kira, or some kind of catch Kira organization. Special Provision for Kira is called, SPK. And the main cast all end up having to go to America to I don't know why. Why do they go to America? I've never understood. I've kind of lost track of what happened. They're looking for a Death Note, right? So Mello wants to get his hands on a Death Note.
mm-hmm.
Does he believe it's in America? Is that why they go there?
Probably, because if you, I don't remember.
Either way, something like what happens is the head of the director of the Japanese Kira task force gets kidnapped and is taken to America and is held by the mafia in Mello. So they all go.
Oh, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
So they all go over there to get him back, or something like that's happening, right?
So I
As far
think
as I remember.
Mello was trying to use this, not that he thought it was going to be in America, but more like to see if he can catch Light in or Kira in America by, putting in like an ultimatum of some sort.
Right. But they go there to relieve him, and he doesn't get relieved. He gets killed. So Light kills him using the Death Note, kills the chief of police. I never understood why he did that either. Why he needed to do that. Was there something going to come out and blow his cover, or I don't know. Do you remember,
I
Bianca?
feel like it was I feel like it was more like, oh, it was Mello, so whatever, just kill him off.
Yeah. Anyway, so he gets killed off, but they kill him off and then to replace him as a hostage, they kidnap Light's sister.
Sayu.
Yeah, Sayu, and then they take this a bit more serious. So the dad, Soichiro Yagami, he goes to, he's already in America. He ends up getting dropped off in the desert, and he ends up in some kind of underground desert bunker looking for his daughter. He's got he's took the Death Note. So the Death Note was locked away in Japan. The 5 or so cops that are left have all got like a fingerprint code to open up this safe to get the Death Note out, including Light, and he's given the Death Note to take over there to exchange for his daughter's life. So Mello ends up with a Death Note, and I can't actually remember which Death Note this is, which Shinigami gave this Death Note to, or dropped this Death Note on Earth. I've kind of lost track of which Death Note is which at this point, and it really confused me. Almost to the point as well where I forgot about this Death Note, the one that Mello had, because there is this other one as well that Light's got. Right, he's also got a separate Death Note that he's got. What's her name? The girl.
Sayu or Misa?
Misa. he's got Misa going around killing people with that other one in the
Mm-hmm.
background. So he remains above suspicion because the deaths are still happening and he's working with the police and it can't be him doing it. So they don't suspect him. So he's got that one and that one's still in play. But this one that goes to Mello, he gets it and then it just kind of goes off it kind of goes off the board, the playing board for a while and you don't really know much about it. But Mello kills all of or most of Nier's team. He doesn't kill them all. He keeps he like spares a couple of them. I don't know why, but he kills most of the other team, like most of the other members of the team. So I think there's only like 4 members of his team left, or 5 members of his team left after Mello kills them all. Don't know why he didn't just kill them all. Maybe he didn't know other names, or I don't know. I can't remember. But that I found a bit odd as well. It's like,
I think it wasn't it to test out the Death Note.
yeah, but I mean, if he wanted to test it out, why didn't he just kill all of the team except for Nier? I mean, if he genuinely
No,
doesn't
because
want to kill
some
Nier,
people are valuable, so why kill off the people that are valuable?
right? I don't know if I would really class these people as valuable, but
There
yeah, he
is
spares some
one
of
that
them.
he talks to the most.
Yeah. But anyway, they do that. So he kills off most of his team, and then Nier wants to team up with Light, and then in order to go after Mello, because Nier believes that Mello's trying to see which one of them can catch Kira faster. I still maintain that had he killed all of Nier's team, he would have made it easier for himself to beat him.
I think he likes actually playing the game instead of just doing something like that. That would have been too easy.
Yeah.
I think it's a game of intelligence.
Yeah. And he's got his quirk as well. So Mello's got his chocolate fixation that he has to satisfy. He's always eating chocolate. And he's like always building stuff with toys, or he's always playing with toys or building things with blocks. So it's like they all have to have a quirk. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like L had his quirk of like sitting, you know, the way he sits with it, like on his feet and like chews on his fingernail. That was his quirk. But
Yeah.
why do these clever people always have to have something strange with like some silly quirk? But
I mean, Nier likes toys. That's his age, though.
that's
isn't
cool.
it?
I don't know, because what is his age? Because it was a time jump of 5 years. See, I like toys. I'm 42, so it's cool. But
And then Mello was a chocolate.
yeah, chocoholic. It was always like
I wish.
it was always like halfway through a bar as well. I don't think I ever saw him finish one. He was always like biting the same part of a bar off out of the wrapper, wasn't he? It was like they only had that one asset to use for the animation, where it was like him biting one corner off of a brand new bar of chocolate. But we get another Shinigami showing up, and this started confusing me as well. So this other Shinigami called Sido shows up, and he says to some other Shinigami in the demon realm that he lost his Death Note, and Ryuk was the one that took it and dropped
And then
it
he
in the
dropped it
human
in
world.
the human world.
So the one that he dropped, the one that belonged to Sido, the one that he dropped, was that the original one that Light picked up in episode 1?
Yes.
Right. So Ryuk still holds on to his own Death Note.
Yeah, that's what I suspected.
Well, because he
that's
writes,
what I thought.
because in the 37th episode he writes Light's name in a Death Note, one that he's got, so it's his one. Right. That's what I thought was happening anyway. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got lost watching this part of it. You know, this whole 11 episodes. The first part was a bit easier to follow than this. I thought this was it was messy. I think it was messy. So
pretentious.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was going to use. Those two characters.
Except to me, it was the entire thing instead of just the ending part.
The whole show was pretentious. Yeah, I can see how you'd think
it's
that.
why I couldn't get into it. That's why I only liked one part, and then I liked Mello and Nier's stuff.
But it was only this last part, so this last part is the part I found the most pretentious. The rest of it beforehand I quite liked. So I think if they just stopped it with Light winning, and that would have been quite a unique way to end. And I know, like, like it ends on a kind of it would have ended on a kind of a sort of 50-50 downer or happy note, because you got like a pretty good world coming out of it, that there's very little crime, but you've also got the bad guy won. So that's probably where they should have ended it. But anyway, so Light ends up using the Death Note to get one of the mafia members to tell them where the hideout is. And then Cedo, the one that's looking for his Death Note, he sees the address and he goes to try and find it. And then when he gets there, he somehow manages to con everybody into touching the Death Note so they can all see him, including Mello. And he reveals that 13-day rule, the one that they added in about having to put a name in 13 days after you put the first one, they find out that that's a fake rule. And the cops, the Japanese team, are going to do a raid on Mello's hideout, and Sachiro decides he's going to make the deal with Ryuk to get the Shinigami eyes, and this is so that when he gets into the mafia hideout, he can see what Mello's name is. So he ends up, I can't remember if they kill them all. I think they do. He kind of wipes out all of his crew, and then he gets to Mello and he can see his name. His name's Mihail Keel. And he's sort of threatening that he's going to write his name, but he can't bring himself to kill the guy. And it's like, you're a cop that's been about for, this is another one as well. He's a cop who's been around the block for so long and he's never had to kill anybody. It's kind of silly. And I don't know how often cops have to kill criminals in Japan, but
well, I thought he was a detective, more like.
It doesn't matter though, does it? I mean, you don't just become a detective straight away. You must have done some sort of cop work beforehand. But anyway, he says he can't do it, so he can't kill the guy. I don't know how he can't, because the guy's a bad guy, in my opinion. But Sachiro ends up getting shot. He doesn't die straight away. And Mello like detonates the whole building and blows it all up, and that's how he gets his scar at this point, isn't it?
I don't know how.
Scar on his face. I think so, because I think he had no scar before, and then after this he ends up with a scar. So I think because of the explosion, I think that's where he ends up with it. I could be wrong. I probably am. But that's where I think I remember him getting his scar. So he blows the building up, and Soichiro's in the hospital, and Light's by his bedside, and Light's determined that he needs to get the name of Mello's real name off of his dad before his dad dies. He doesn't seem concerned his dad's going to die. He seems more concerned that he needs Mello's name. So, but he doesn't manage to get it before his dad dies. So
I was so confused of the lifespan thing before he died. I feel like I need more an explanation on that.
Well, the lifespan thing, he made the deal for the ice, so his lifespan, whatever it was, is halved.
No, when Soichiro got the eyes, he can see the lifespan. And I believe they said something like, if you use the Death Note, then you cannot see the lifespan. But he saw Light's lifespan.
Yeah, that's because Light. Died. That's because Light had relinquished the Death Note, and it gone to, what's her name?
Wait, I thought that didn't matter.
No, it did. Once you relinquish it, people with the eyes can then see your lifespan.
Okay, that makes so much sense to me, but that's to me a stupid rule. It means you can literally stop whenever and just save your own life. But it says that
you can still not. But he's still not able to go to heaven or hell no matter what now, though. Even though his lifespan is now viewable.
That part.
Yeah, because the rule, if you remember, one of the rule cards that pops up is anybody who uses it can neither go to heaven nor hell.
Yeah,
as soon as you've used it. So there's all these sort of cults that are popping up, like Kira's Kingdom and stuff like that, like worshippers. So somehow, and I can't actually remember where this happens, somehow Light has Misa relinquish her Death Note, and then he gets it sent to one of his most willing followers, a guy called Mikami, and this guy starts killing people for him. He doesn't have any like contact with the guy. The guy just starts killing people because he's like a worshipper of Kira. And you've got this like the Kira's Kingdom cult popping up, and
hate that guy.
Which guy? The
Mikami.
Yeah, I mean he starts out all right. Like when you see his beginning, you know, when he's at school and he's just like a typical nerd getting beat up on, you feel sorry for him, but then you realise he turns really, really evil, and he wants to kill everybody that ever wronged him. He's also what?
What? Never mind.
He's what? He's what?
What?
Did you say sexist?
I didn't say nothing.
You need to remind me. I can't remember. It probably is. He's just a baddie all round.
I could have sworn that they said something like women were always the trouble in his life, so he just doesn't like women. But that's
right, he's an incel, right? So yeah, he's not a likable character. He's a horrible, horrible guy. But he's one of these ones that's convinced that God wants him to stand up to evil. So he's got this infatuation with Kira, and he calls Kira God. So yeah, he starts to do Kira's bidding for him, but he's not. So Light doesn't want the guys on TV to be the ones doing his speaking for him, because he doesn't like their style. So he gets them. He gets I think he gets Mikami to off them, and then he chooses that news reporter, the one with the short hair.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're right. It was his girlfriend at college.
Yeah. Kiyomi. So he meets up with her, and then there's like surveillance and stuff going on in that hotel. The hotel's bugged by the we're back in Japan at this point, so I should have said. I actually forgot where the transition happened from America back to Japan.
Me too.
I completely missed it. It's because they don't tell you where you are, so you kind of get confused.
I don't remember seeing a title screen, but I could have missed it probably.
No, but they are back in Japan now, and they're in that like hotel room together. And he sort of passes notes to her so that they can speak to each other without the cops knowing, because the cops they've only bugged the room. They haven't got video surveillance. He somehow convinces the cops and Nier, who's surveilling this room, that he needs to disconnect all the audio equipment so that they can speak. So he convinces Kiyomi that he wants her to be the new goddess in his new world. You've got Mello in the background suspecting Misa to be the second Kira, and he's right about that. So, but you get Nier showing up in Japan. So he's been in the States up until now, and he then shows up in Japan. Then Kiyomi gets Mikami to give her 5 pages of the Death Note,
mm-hmm.
and then she said that she tells him that he'll be working out of a fake book.
I believe so, yeah.
So she's doing the killing now. So he's recruited her not only as the spokesperson, but also as another Kira. And there's a bit of tension between Kiyomi and Misa as well for the affection of Light.
Yeah. Love triangle.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much a love triangle. I think
no, it's
I kind of got
for Light's affection.
Yeah, I kind of got the feeling right at the beginning that Light was just gonna use this woman and bin her, even though she's more clever, or more sort of up. She was more sort of classy than Misa, but I still love Misa more because she's cool. Yeah, so this Giovanni guy, I think he's on the trail of Mikami, and he finds the notebook inside Mikami's locker. This is the fake notebook, right? The one that they've mocked up, and he takes photographs of the names that are in it, and so that they know that it is him that's been doing it. But you find out later on that that's all been a setup. Then Kiyomi gets kidnapped by Melo's thugs, and he ends up taking her to like some abandoned, like an abandoned ruin. She's got like a piece of the Death Note stored in her bra. She's got it hidden, and she gets that out, and then I think she uses her blood to write Melo's name on that piece of the notebook and kills him. And then she somehow manages to get contact to Light about that she's been kidnapped, and he's like, right, well, you know what to do now. So he ends up just writing her name in the notebook as well, like his notebook, and makes her kill herself, which is brutal because he does it by like having her set fire to everything so that everything gets burned up, which is quite a horrible. That's how, like, that's what I felt like he was going to do in the end with her. I felt like he was going to go towards the just discarding this girl. She's just useful. And then discards her.
I believe he was going to do the same with Misa anyway.
Yeah, but I'm glad. What I am glad of is that Misa makes it out at the end, and I don't know. We'll get to it in a minute because we're coming up to episode 37. But we'll sort of we'll ponder on her ultimate fate because it's kind of left up in the dark, I think. So she's burned everything. All the evidence is gone, including her. And Light and Near are they're gonna meet face to face. Right? They've arranged to meet up. Light is gonna get Mikami to write all the names of everybody. So he's got the eyes. I don't know how long he's had the eyes for. I can't remember when he made the deal for it, but he's got the eyes now. He can see everybody's names, and he's going to get everybody. He's going to get Mikami to write the names of everybody who's inside that warehouse. So including all of his own team and all of Nier's team. So he's going to wipe everybody out except himself. So he has the guy show up to the warehouse, and he's when they get there, Nier is wearing a mask, so he's not, so his face can't be seen. But Light's like, come on, man, we're all here. We all agreed to be here and show our faces. Let's come on. So he takes the mask off and he shows his face. And then Mikami shows up, and it's kind of anticlimactic. I thought when I read up about what was going to happen, what happened at the end, I envisaged this all happening like up on a roof, somewhere a bit, a bit dangerous. But it's inside a warehouse, so it felt quite anticlimactic. And this scene went on for ages as well. It's like, you know what I mean? The guy was standing outside the door, and it's like, that guy's going to walk through that door any second now. And that went on and on for too long, way too long. And it's like, he's here now, and he can see his wee beady eye looking through the gap in the door. I said, just come in, man. Come on. Like, just let's get this over with. But Mikami comes in. He's written all their names down. And then it's like, Light is going, he's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. He's like, yeah, that's it. They're all going to die. And then it's like, how long is it? Like 1 minute, 30 seconds or something, and everybody should be dead. That's how long you've got, right?
Yeah.
90 seconds.
Like
and this whole, you're all going to be dead soon, goes on for ages. It goes on for way longer than 1 minute 30. So
it was so dumb. I'm like, you're really celebrating right now? You're an idiot.
Yeah, this episode is called 128. Is it 1 minute 28 seconds? That's how long you've got.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, it wasn't 1 minute 28. I could probably go back and time it. It was way, it was like 3 minutes. Probably there was probably a commercial break in as well, like between it. And it went on and on for ages, and then nobody dies. So Nier reveals that it was a fake. So the notebook that Mikami is writing in now is fake again. So this is a real fake one, because it
was a real fake one.
So Light beforehand had switched the fake one that he was writing in back with the real one again, or the real pages again, or he thought he did, but there was a double turn here where Nier had managed to switch out the real pages again for fake ones. I don't know, right? This is where I got really, really lost. Anyway, he wrote those names in a notebook, and it wasn't the real notebook, or it wasn't the real page of the notebook. It transpires like they've put fake pages over the top of the real notebook, right? That's what ended up happening. I can't remember how they managed to do it, at what point they managed to do it, or who did it, but that's something like that has happened. Because Light was all like, "Oh, this guy Nier is not as good as L. He's not like, I never met my match in this guy." But the fact is that he managed. It wasn't really him, but he managed to off L, or somebody off L, but nobody managed to off Nier. So Nier actually is superior in the end to L. But I don't look at him like that. I think he's quite a hollow character with not a lot of personality, and he's just a light version of L. And I didn't really like him. And I thought this twist was quite silly. I think I just thought it was too much. It was too convoluted. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because at the end of this episode, it's like Light. It's like, yeah, I'm winning. I'm going to win. And then episode 37 is like the last episode. It's just like everybody realizing that Light is the bad guy.
Well,
and he ends up.
Remember that like two people kind of suspected it, like when the new arc of Nier and Mello being introduced, and I'm like, 5 years, and you're now thinking that it could be freaking Light? Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, but none of them were 100% though about it.
No, the thing is, all of them were 0% about it, but out of nowhere they started suspecting it, and I still don't understand.
Yeah, well, it didn't really matter in the end, because he was like, he just outright admitted it, and he starts freaking out. He confesses to it, and then he tries to write down. He's got a piece of the Death Note hidden in his watch still. I think he seems to always have like a piece of that Death Note hidden in his watch, in that little compartment. But Matsuda, the pathetic cop, the one that fell off the balcony, this is why I said I should learn his name, because he's quite an integral character, because he is the one that kills. Well, he isn't the one that kills him, but he's the one that mortally wounds Light when he's trying to write people's names in the piece of paper. He's the only one with the guts to pull a gun out and try and kill him. So he's wounded, he's heavily wounded, he's trying to escape, but Ryuk is kind of following behind him, and he's like, "Yep, I told you, if the time had come, your name's going in the book, buddy." And so Ryuk writes Light's name in the notebook, and Light just dies of a heart attack on the stairs. And he sort of sees, I think he sees like L, and he's just before he dies, he sees him like, it's like a vision of him. So, that's how he ends. But then you get like an epilogue as the credits are rolling, and it's Misa. She's like traveling to the top of one of the, I think she travels to the place where he died, right? And she goes to like the top of one of these towers. And I thought she's going to go up there and jump. I thought she's going to go up top of this tower and chuck herself off. But it doesn't.
They cut off.
So they don't show that. So her
that fate. Was stupid. I'm like, just tell me if she kills herself. I mean, her lifespan is already halved anyway. So.
Yeah, but I mean, again, so her lifespan was halved twice. But she was also given, I believe she was given the rest of the lifespan to 2 Shinigamis as well, if I'm understanding the rules correctly. So I don't have any idea what her lifespan is. I don't know if it's long or short.
Keep it a secret.
But you don't even know. So the fact that you don't even know ultimately what happens to her, so she doesn't get her comeuppance for the murders that she's committed, which is kind of it's kind of odd in Japanese media for the people who are bad to not get their comeuppance in the end. It seems to be like one of the big things with even most Southeast Asian shows, movies, books, is always that the bad guy has to get punished in some way, right? In the end. And she doesn't. She looks like she's getting away with it. I wish they just showed you her chucking herself off, and then you can go, right, okay, like all the people with the Death Notes.
I am now satisfied.
Yeah. but you don't know. And I don't think I don't know about any of the sort of TV movies or the actual movies themselves, whether they ever explain it. But I don't think the manga did either, did it? You don't know because you've not read it, but it was deeply unsatisfying. I think this last third, almost to the point where I wish it had ended where we watched, the first three arcs. I wish it had ended at the end of the first three arcs. I thought that would have been a satisfying end, even if it meant the bad guy sort of getting away with it. But that's it. That was definite. That was all 37 episodes. I know your thoughts on it, Bianca. Would you like to reiterate what you felt about Death Note overall?
No.
We all know you didn't like it.
I liked
Overall,
some. Again, I liked some stuff about it. I liked the whole Light relinquishing the Death Note, so like he doesn't get so he's not suspicious of anything. And then he's literally helping Light get Kira, but he's Kira and he doesn't know that he's Kira. And it was a whole side that I actually really liked and all that stuff. And then I liked the Mellow and Near stuff.
so I didn't like that part. I thought the first part, the first three arcs, was a solid 7 out of 10 anime. And I would watch it again. The last part, the episodes that we've just covered here, the 26 to 37, I thought were woeful. 4 out of 10. I didn't like Mellow. I didn't like Near. I got lost along the way. I hate it when an anime makes me feel stupid, and this one made me feel dumb because I just
But
could
to
not
me, it
follow.
was the entire thing, but it made me feel dumb and smart because it's dumb and they're trying to be smart.
But I can
Does that
see,
make sense?
yeah, but I can see what they were trying to do. It's just that it wasn't sinking into me, and it made me feel like I was missing something. And then when it got to the end, I just felt like I haven't enjoyed what I've watched because it's gone beyond me, and it felt a bit like it run on a lot longer than it should have. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about with the manga, where they kept going to make money.
So I got the archive. So Mellow and Near do appear in the manga, but apparently it was a lot better. Like it was like better paced. They felt like better characters in the anime. Like people who didn't like Nier in the anime ended up liking him in the manga.
So they were
They show
fleshed out
more.
then,
Mm-hmm.
right?
They showed more detective work. I did find out about how Light dies in the manga, and it's different from the anime.
How does he die in the manga?
He begs for it, and then what was his name?
Ryuk.
Mikumi? No,
Oh,
Mikumi.
the follower,
Yeah,
right?
Mikami. That was what it was.
Mikami, yeah.
Mikami was like, "You're not a god. Oh my gosh, how are you groveling?" Um, and then Ryuk. As soon as Ryuk is writing his name, that's when L is. I mean, that's when Light is like, "Never mind. I don't want to die."
But it's too late at that point.
Apparently, it's possible that Light was actually possibly catching feelings for Misa in the manga because of how she herself was doing this by herself, for Kira and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently, a couple of the rules sounded better, and this, in the near the ending, I thought Light was getting more stupid, and I already found him stupid in near the beginning. uh but apparently he was actually like smarter, more smart, like he made better choices, or more like he just didn't care. Like when I was telling you, it took 5 years, but Aizawa, who is one of the cops, was like, "Hey, I think I'm catching on to you that you're Kira." Um, in the anime, Light is like, "Oh yeah, I'll let him catch up. you know, blah blah blah. But in the manga, he's like, I literally don't care what you do. You have no proof anyway, so just do whatever.
Well,
And I was
that's
like,
what I
that's
always said. This is what I always said, that there is no proof of any. It's just a ridiculous premise anyway from the very beginning, that somebody writes a name in a notebook and somebody dies of a heart attack. There should be no criminal investigation. But yeah, he becomes a sort of arrogant prick in the second part, more so than he was in the first. The first one was more of like a head to head with L, and it was good. And then this one, he just felt like an arrogant prick because he's a cop now as well. And
so
I don't.
apparently in the manga, sorry, no, in the anime, he caught on to Light, like sending messages to Kiyomi, and that's where they showed Light actually messing up.
Right.
That's when it becomes different in the manga. I don't know how different it was, but
Right. Okay. So it would be different then if somebody is
Mhm.
aware of what's going on. Yeah, I thought it was. I thought.
Apparently near doing some things, there was an actual reason for it, but it was just not shown in the manga. I mean, sorry, it wasn't shown in
Yeah.
the anime, but it was
Yeah.
explained in the manga.
Yeah. It felt like
And
this was this part felt rushed. It felt like
mhm.
there could have been a lot more. I don't know why they didn't just make more episodes. But it felt rushed. Didn't feel the characters weren't fleshed out, and it didn't feel as enjoyable as the first half. Not the first half, the first part. So overall, I'm left with a sour taste
Wait,
in my mouth
do
at the end of
you remember the U.S. president dying in the anime?
it. No, I don't know if
No?
it, I don't
Okay.
know if it, I don't know if it did happen, but I don't remember it happening.
I don't remember it happening either, but apparently in the manga, Mello kills the U.S. president.
Right. I remember him being maybe threatened, but I don't remember him dying. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It's
Hmm.
been a week since I've seen it, and I don't intend to go back to it now. Now that I've watched it all. But anyway, that was it. That was Death Note. It's if you haven't seen it, watch it. I mean, I still recommend watching it, even though I didn't like the last part, but it's worth a watch.
I didn't like any of it,
Yeah,
except
I
the
know, I
parts.
know. But it's over now. So now, Bianca,
That's what they say.
now me and you get to go on to something better. Next up, next
Uh,
time we get together, we are covering Yoshiki Takaya's seminal The Guyver from 1989. We're going to be watching the 12 episode OEV. Uh, when we get onto it,
did
I'll
you
explain.
say? I thought you said OAV.
It is an OEV.
Don't you mean OVA?
Same thing. If you look at it, it's
Is it?
interchangeable. Yeah, you can call it either.
Oh, cool, cool. Good
Original
to
animated
know.
video, original video animation. You can call it either. I'm just always used to calling it OEV. I think that's how the in the UK manga entertainment was the big anime distributor, and that's how they that was their parlance for it. I know it was a different thing everywhere else in the world, but that's what we called it. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Why are we getting hung up on? Why are we getting hung up on acronyms? That's what we're watching. So everybody, get out there, watch. It's a fantastic series. It's the first anime show I watched that I knew I was watching anime. That's how. That's how.
What?
It's the first show I watched
Uh huh.
where I knew I was watching anime. Do you know what I mean? You know when you're really young and you're watching something that's anime, but you don't know it's anime. You don't know it's come from Japan.
No.
You've never had that happen to you,
No.
right? I can't really think of an example of what you would have. People always cite Transformers as an example of an anime that you watched as a kid you didn't know was anime, but it was still commissioned by an American company, right? And it was just animated in Japan. But anyway, The Guyver is the first one that I knew what I was watching. I went into a video shop at the age of, I want to say 12, 13. I think I was 12. And I knew what I was looking for. I knew I wanted to watch this show. I had to pick a specific episode because I couldn't rent the first couple of them because the rating was too high for me to rent. So I had to rent a PG. One, the first PG one was like episode 3. Episode 3's cover didn't look too interesting. Episode 4's cover looked really interesting, so that's the one I rented, and that's the first one I ever watched, and it was fucking fantastic. Sorry for the language, but it was fucking fantastic. And I'm sure many of our audience out there are going to share my sentiments. I hope you enjoy it, Bianca. I know you've not watched it yet, but get all 12 of them done because we're watching it, and we are. And for the Guyver, we are going balls deep, like we did with 3x3 Eyes. We are going, and again, I apologize for the crudeness of this analogy. We are going tip, neck, all of the shaft, all the way down to the base. We're going that deep. That's how deep we're going. So the Guyver's next.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So everybody get it watched because it's coming up next. We'll do that over 2 episodes, and then we're going to get a suggestion from Bianca. And then once we've done Bianca's suggestion, which will probably cover 2 weeks, we'll be back to the Viewer's Choice poll. I have the choices pretty much set in stone. I'm going to discuss it with Bianca, and we're going to curate this list and make sure there's nothing dodgy on there. I'm looking at you, Aaron. World Order.
What?
I'll explain privately what Aaron's original suggestion was. But anyway, that's going to that's us. We've done it. We're moving on. We'll be back hopefully in a couple of weeks. I don't know. I have a lot of stuff going on. Bianca, any interviews coming up from you? Stuff we should be looking out for?
Like what?
Like you know how like on your day job you interview people. You interview like indie comic people. Are you doing any of that?
I don't have. For now, I don't have any this month. I do have something next month.
Right, because you'll be interviewing me sometime as an indie comic guy. You know that, right? Because I am now an indie comic artist. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if I've mentioned this to everybody before. Not only am I an indie comic artist, I'm also the co-creator of The Fabulous Frogman, and also the sole creator of Cat Got Your Tongue. So anyway, everybody out there, like, comment, subscribe to me as well, and subscribe to Bianca. Subscribe to myself and comics. Don't just subscribe to the Geek Getaway. Don't just give them all your love. Give it to us as well individually. And we'll catch you in the next one. Good night, Bianca.
Night.
Good night, everybody.